In Ontario, nearly 1 in 7 children still live in poverty. Every day, principals and vice principals in Catholic schools in Ontario witness the heartache of poverty and its impact on student learning and family well-being. School leaders witness the impact on those who struggle to find affordable housing, employment, and enough nutritious food to sustain a family. And they know firsthand the struggles of a family trying to get by on Ontario Works support. Catholic principals witness poverty of the spirit as well. They see the implications of those who struggle with mental health and addiction, and they encounter in their schools those students and parents who find each day a struggle. Poverty in some form is experienced in every school. CPCO's Do You See What I See project brings to light some of the realities about poverty in schools that our members face each and every day.
Anyone who has paid a remote amount of attention to the newspapers knows that there is a serious growing income gap in our country that is only now being recognized. It's been around for a long time.
There are so many barriers. We know that the middle class is disappearing. We know that it's much easier to get into poverty than it is to get out of poverty. There's poverty of spirit, mind, there's poverty of friends, there's poverty of many things, one of which is money.
Most of those families are dealing with a variety of different kinds of poverty. Mental health, resilience is really an issue. I find I have families who have sort of completely lost connection with church and with their own broader family, and they feel very alone in the world. We're really starting to feel it, and we're starting to feel that the needs are only getting greater and greater and greater.
Poverty hits us on so many levels. Some of them are refugees. Some of our kids are from parents who are mentally ill. Some of our parents are working in jobs that are just minimum wage. They're working hard. I would say that would be the consistent 80% of our kids live in Toronto community housing.
We are an inner city school. Our students, they grow up, they see drugs, they see alcohol abuse, they see prostitution. That is the community that we live in. When we clean up around the schools, we find needles on the ground. In general, our families have a lower level of education, a higher level of illiteracy, and around us, there is a higher level of crime.
Looking at poverty in my school, a large high school, is getting to know the story of each and every student. Because unless we know the story of our children and understand where they're coming from and their needs, we'll never be able to address it. Each individual family needs to be treated with respect, and every family will have a story, and we can't make assumptions.
There's a child in JK who had a hard time in the classroom. So this little guy would come into my office, and one day he started telling me about his home life, and he took a crayon and he drew his apartment, and he started drawing the beds. This was Daddy's bed, this was another person's, and this is Uncle's bed and an aunt's bed. There was 11 beds that he drew in this apartment. He had a very young mom who needed some support, and we tried to do the very best we can. And I think what the story is, too, is that you have to know the whole family. It's not just the child, because it's what's happening at home that impacts the behavior, that influences the behavior.
A lot of the things that present themselves, whether it may seem like disinterested parents or it may seem like underachieving children, once you scratch the surface and you gain the trust of the families, you'll find that there are reasons behind that.
When a principal is trusted by people who are down and out, that's when you got a good school. There's no textbook, there's no manual in the principal's course for this. You just have to do that, I think, sometimes, because that's what God calls you to.
Principals have an awful lot of power and privilege, and we can open doors that a lot of families can't open. And if that's part of our job, is using our power and privilege to help level the playing field, that's something that we can do.
At the end of the day, what is our role? What is our quest? And it's not just formal education.
The biggest challenge and the biggest delight, it's one and the same, and that is building relationships. Building positive relationships between the school and the community and the students and the parents, that is ultimately the most important job.
And it's building that sense of community. Once it starts happening, the teachers feel that all of the kids are our kids, the parents feeling that it's our kids, and then the school becomes like a community hub, which is exactly what you want.
It takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of energy, but I think in years to come, maybe not right now, but in years to come, it will pay off tremendously, and that's where the difference will be.
CPCO's Do You See What I See project communicates the lived reality of our members dealing with poverty in their schools. Our hope is to raise provincial awareness of this critical issue and ignite a conversation about next steps for our members, our partners, and our Catholic students. Poverty is not destiny. Let's lessen the impact of poverty together. For more information, please contact the Catholic Principals Council of Ontario.